Good morning, all. Now we're dealing with the topic X-ray diffraction. X-ray is an electromagnetic wave. It can be diffracted or interfere as ordinary light. But there is a condition to occur diffraction. We know that the size of the obstacle must be in the order of wavelength of the light. So, for the visible electromagnetic radiation to be diffracted, the spacing between the lines in a two-dimensional grating must be of the same order as the wavelength range of light. We know that in practical purposes, we use diffraction grating to obtain the spectrum of mercury light. But a diffraction grating cannot be used for X-ray diffraction because the wavelength of X-rays is in the order of 0.1 nanometer. So the ordinary device such as ruled diffraction grating do not produce an observable effect with X-rays. In 1912, Law suggested that a crystal which consisted of a three-dimensional array of regularly spaced atoms could serve as a grating in the case of X-rays. The crystal differ from the ordinary grating in the sense that the diffracting centers in the crystals are not in one plane. That is, the crystal act as a space grating rather than a plane grating used for study of light diffraction. That is, the diffraction grating we use, that is a plane type, but we can use crystal as a space grating. On the suggestion of Law, his associates succeeded in diffracting X-rays by passing them through a thin crystal of zinc blende. The diffraction pattern obtained by them consists of a central spot and a series of spots arranged in a definite pattern around the central spot. So we can use a crystal planes for diffractions of X-rays. Now we go to the theoretical details of X-ray diffraction. Okay, this pattern observed by the associates of law is known as law pattern. The diffraction pattern obtained by law and its associates is called as law pattern. Now we discuss Bragg's law. The explanation of law pattern was given by Bragg. According to Bragg, the spores are produced due to the reflection of some of the incident X-rays from the various sets of parallel crystal planes that are called as Bragg's planes, which contains a large number of atoms. The explanation of law pattern is given by Bragg. According to him, the spores are produced due to the reflection of some of the incident X-rays from the various set of parallel crystal planes, which contains a large number of atoms. A beam of X-ray directed at a crystal interact with the electrons of the atom in the crystal. The electrons oscillate under the impact and become a new source of electromagnetic radiation. The waves emitted in all directions by the electrons have same frequency as the incident X-rays. As there are millions of atoms in a crystal, the emission in a particular direction is the combined effect of the oscillations of electron in the all atoms. The emission will be in phase and reinforce one another only in certain specific direction, which depends on the direction of the incident X-rays, their wavelength, as well as the spacing between the atoms in the crystal. In other directions, there is destructive interference of the emission from different sources. So it is the explanation of Bragg for the law pattern. Bragg's law, that is a condition to be satisfied to obtain law pattern, which is given by 2d sine theta is equal to n lambda. This is the Bragg's law. Bragg's law is a condition to be satisfied to obtain law pattern, which is given by 2d sine theta is equal to n lambda. We can state Bragg's law as The X-rays reflected from different parallel planes of a crystal interfere constructively when the path difference is integral multiple of wavelength of X-rays. I repeat, Bragg's law states that the X-rays reflected from different parallel planes of a crystal interfere constructively when the path difference is integral multiple of the wavelength of X-rays. Bragg's law give the diffraction maxima condition for reflected X-rays from several planes where theta is the angle of diffraction and n is the order of diffraction and small d, it is the spacing between the planes. Now the proof of Bragg's law. It is very important. Bragg's law and its proof is important. Consider a set of parallel lattice planes separated by a spacing d between each other as shown in figure. Here in the figure, these are different planes. This is first plane, this is the second plane, this is the third, etc. These are the different planes. Now consider a narrow beam of X-ray is incident on the surface of the crystal at an angle theta. Here we consider this line AB and DE are incident on the surface of the crystal at an angle this beam will reflected in all direction by the atoms of the various atomic planes. So just look at the figure. Here from the figure, we can see that the line or the ray AB is reflected when hitting this atom and it is reflected back as BC, and the beam DE is reflected as EF. Here in the figure, we given only two beams. After the reflection, these rays as reflected as BC and EF, and they are in phase and interfere each other. So the rays BC and EF will be interfere. Now we extend the line AB towards here, and it meets at the point H in the beam EF, and also we extend BC towards the beam DE, and it is meet at G. Okay, it is then for to obtain the path difference of these two rays. Here the beam this is reaching at here and reflected from this point as BC, but the ray DE is reflecting from another plane. So this ray has to travel more. So we have to find the path difference. To obtain that one, to obtain the length that of AB, we extend CB to cut at G, and to obtain as the length of CB, we extend AB to cut at H. Okay. Now we know that the path length of the ray DEF is greater than the path length of ABC by an amount. Which amount? This length GEEH, GE plus EH. This is the path difference, GE plus EH. Therefore, the path difference between the two rays reflected from the adjacent planes is GE plus EH. Now we have to obtain the path difference in terms of the crystal parameters and the incident angle. For that, let us consider the triangle GBE. This triangle, the triangle GBE. This angle is theta, and similarly, triangle EBH, this angle is theta, and the spacing between the planes as D. Okay. Now, from this triangle, we can obtain an expression for GE, and from this triangle, we can obtain an expression for EH. From the triangle GBE, sine theta is equal to GE divided by BE, So G is equal to B sine theta. And what is B? B is equal to D. Okay. Then G is equal to D sine theta. In the similar way, from the triangle EBH, the triangle EBH, EH must be equal to BE sine theta, or that is equal to what? It is D sine theta. Then the total path difference must be equal to GE plus EH must be equal to 2D sine theta. So we express the path difference is equal to 2D sine theta. So for constructive interference to occur, we know that the path difference must be integral multiple of the wavelength. Okay. To occur constructive interference, the path difference must be an integral multiple of wavelength. So 2D sine theta must be equal to n lambda, where n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. So this is the condition to occur Bragg's diffraction. This relation is known as Bragg's law. So this is the proof of Bragg's law. Now the verifications of Bragg's law. Bragg's law gives the diffraction maxima condition for reflected X-rays from several planes, where theta is the angle of refraction, angle of diffraction, and n is the order of diffraction. If n is equal to 0, it is called zero order diffraction. It has not experienced by any diffraction. If n is equal to 1, the first order maxima, in that case, theta 1 must be equal to sine inverse lambda divided by 2d. For n is equal to 2, theta 2 is equal to sine inverse 2 lambda divided by 2d. For n is equal to 3, the third order maxima, or theta 3 is equal to sine inverse 3 lambda divided by 2d, and so on. The ratio of the sine of the different angles of refraction must be 1 is to 2 is to 3 is to 4, etc. Okay. The diffraction angles theta 1, theta 2, and theta 3 are measured by Bragg's spectrometer. So if the quantities theta 1, theta 2, and theta 3 are measured, we can obtain the ratio of their sine quantities, sine theta 1, sine theta 2, sine theta 3, etc. If the above proportionality is verified, the assumption of Bragg's theory is that X-rays are reflected like ordinary light gets proved. Thank you.